the Weber's model is primarily emphasizing that this particular system of administration, which he refers to as a rational system of administration, or this what we are otherwise can refer that Weberian model of administration, is efficient. And within that organization, individuals who occupy the position, they are governed by preset norms and they carry out their responsibility as defined. But one aspect let's consider to begin with, that is with regard to Weber's theory on bureaucracy, the problem of authority or dilemma of authority. Here we will be discussing the view of two theorists, TALCOTT Parson and Alvin Goldner. We will discuss these theories, two theorists, with regard to the dilemma of authority. Now, what is the dilemma of authority? See, to begin with, if we consider TALCOTT Parson, Parson says, in the Weberian theory of bureaucracy, the authority is exercised on two premises, or the exercise of authority within the organization is based on two premises, those being: one, the position; second, competence. As per TALCOTT Parson, Parson is saying that Weber has developed an idea of bureaucracy or a theory of bureaucracy, and in this theory of bureaucracy, apparently authority is obeyed. And why authority is obeyed, or subordinate obeys the authority of the superordinate? What is the premise? What is the foundation? The foundation is, one, superior occupying a superior position. So the superior position carries superior authority and subordinate has to obey the superior. So one aspect is that that is very objective aspect, that one who is superior commands the subordinate, and since the one who commands occupies a superior position, the subordinate occupying a subordinate position obeys. So this is something objective, the objective aspect of the authority, where the is something that doesn't depend on the subordinate. There's no way dependent on the subordinate's choice or something like that. Since one is superior by position, the superior will command and subordinate will follow. So one basis to the exercise of authority under the Weber's theory is position. TALCOTT Parson highlights another aspect, that if you consider Weber's theory, Weber is also highlighting that subordinate is expected to follow because the superior is superior in terms of competence. That means the superior's understanding, the subordinate's understanding that the superior carries more expertise and more skill also places the superior at a higher pedestal to command. So look, here two aspects, as TALCOTT Parson says, that Weber has based his authority on this position and competence. So Parson is highlighting that if you take into account Weber's theory, the compliance of the subordinate towards the superior is based on the position, and second, the assumption or moreover the acceptance within the subordinate that the superior carries more competence. Now Parson highlights this particular dilemma. Dilemma is confusion. The confusion that is there, he simply is trying to highlight this. He is maintaining, you see, obedience towards this either Is it only position or is it also competence? Because he is saying this may not always coexist. The one who is superior by position may not also carry superior competence or superior skill. So, if competence becomes the basis for obedience, then in this particular context, at times the subordinate might carry higher competence. So, in this particular context, there will be a confusion. So, there will be a claim to the authority by both the groups. The superior will also claim because higher position, and the subordinates believe the subordinate carries higher competence can also possibly claim the authority. So Parson is highlighting one basic contradiction that is there in the Weberian theory, as he believed that Weber has emphasized on authority, exercise of authority from these two important perspectives. One, the positional, one being superior will exercise command, and second is the competence. The competence is basically that superior carries more competence, and that makes the superior to exercise authority. But the first part is somewhat objective. The first part, this is something objective. Why objective? Because the position cannot be varied. Someone who is in superior position is superior by position or hierarchy. That is something defined, that is something established. Now, that doesn't depend on individual's feeling or understanding. But when it comes to the competence, this not necessarily is objective, it might be subjective, because not necessarily in reality always the superior position will be occupied by an individual with higher competence, and moreover at the same time not necessarily always the subordinate will believe that superior carries the superior competence. If competence becomes the basis for the exercise of authority, then in this particular context the claim to authority might come from either of the group, whether the superior or the subordinate. So not necessarily always the position and the competence will overlap in the exercise of authority. So Talcott Parson has questioned Weber's theory of authority based on the dilemma between the authority being exercised on the basis of position or authority being exercised on the basis of competence. So this is a critical dilemma that exists within the Weber's theory of bureaucracy that has been raised by Talcott Parson.